Welcome to English Corner, Level 1, Lesson 7, entitled Numbers. Your goal for this lesson is to get the students to use the word to answer the question, how many, and also to familiarize the students with the verb have. It's a very simple lesson, and for most in the class, it should be a review as the numbers are just from 1 to 10. Be sure to ask the question as much as possible, how many is an item. Because the more the students hear it and the more the students respond, the more likely they are to remember. Welcome to English Corner, Level 1, Lesson 7, entitled Numbers. We'll start the lesson off today with a warm-up. Try to get the students to recall vocabulary words that we used in the past lessons, such as like, love, hate, and don't like, doesn't like, or dislike. Okay? Julie, do you remember, what does Lacey like?
Lacey like cake.
Lacey, do you like cake?
Yes.
Okay, it's true. Very good. Lacey likes cake. Very good. Don't forget the S, because you're talking about Lacey. So can you repeat after me? Lacey likes cake.
Lacey likes cake.
Okay, very good. And Lacey, what does Julie hate?
Julie hates snake.
Okay, Julie hates snakes. Very good. Nice job. And is that true, Julie? Do you hate snakes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So again, don't forget the S. Hates. Okay. Very good. So you can keep on asking your students questions like that. Go through all of the different vocabulary words, the 4 words that we mentioned. And it's okay if it's a little bit repetitive, but get them talking, asking as many questions, get them to respond. And anytime you hear a grammatical mistake, you don't have to say, no, that was wrong, you said it incorrectly. Just go ahead and repeat the sentence correctly. And then have the student repeat after you, and then remind them of something that they forgot. Okay, this is it's a nicer way of correcting the students. Instead of pointing out their mistakes and making them feel bad about it, we want to build a positive atmosphere. But now we're ready to go ahead and move into Lesson 7 on page 25. So if you want to open up your student books to page 25, you have Lesson A, entitled Talking Corner. We'll start off by playing the recording of the conversation for the students. Have them listen the first time around. The second time around, have them speak aloud along with the recording. Try to make sure that their accent is clearly understandable whenever they say the different words. And if you notice any problem areas as the students are speaking aloud, go ahead and repeat those problematic areas with the students. After they listen to the recording for a second time, we'll go ahead and get into the teaching part of the lesson. Okay, so you see here we have, how many blank do you have? Okay, the word have. You see have. Have is I have. Okay, can you do this? Can you take your hands, lift them up. Very good. And then like this, do this, okay? Have. I have. Very good. In my pocket, I have keys. I have keys. I have a pen. Julie, what do you have?
I have a book.
Okay, you have a book. And Lacey, what do you have?
I have a pencil.
Okay, very good. So have is something that we have. Now, when you see this, how many is a question. How many is a question, okay? And the answer is a number. A a number. Today we're talking about numbers. So let's look back at the book, section A. Hako says, how many crayons do you have? How many? So it's a number, it's a question. What does Keith say? Julie, what does Keith say?
I have 10 crayons.
Very good. I have 10 crayons. And then let's look below. Keith says, how many notebooks do you have? What does Jean say, Lacey?
I have 2 notebooks.
2 notebooks. And Hako asks, how many pencils do you have? What does Jean say, Julie?
I have 2 pencils.
Very good. So, if it's more than one, if it's 2 items or more, you have, say, an apple. If you have 2 apples, you need to say S. So, 1 apple, 2 apples. Okay? So let's keep going. Let's look at section B. Section B in your books, page 26. Very good. So let's count together. Okay? 1, 2, can you say? Can you repeat after me? 1,
1,
2,
2,
what is this?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Very good, very good. So you already know your numbers. If you realize that the students already know something, there's no need to continue teaching that one item. They're already comfortable with these 10 numbers, so I can go ahead and move on. In the vocabulary list, there's more than just words here. It's really focused on a grammar pattern. So we'll go ahead and go over the sentences. Okay. This is Mayan. Do you see Mayan? Yes. Do you see Mayan? Yes. So these are Mayans. How many pens are there? It says, there is 1 pen. Can you say, there is 1 pen?
There is 1 pen.
There are 2 birds.
There are 2 birds.
There are 3 fish.
There are 3 fish.
There are 4 stars.
There are 4 stars.
There are 5 trees.
There are 5 trees.
There are 6 cats.
There are 6 cats.
There are 7 bees.
There are 7 bees.
There are 8 butterflies.
There are 8 butterflies.
There are 9 chicks.
There are 9 chicks.
There are 10 oranges.
There are 10 oranges.
Okay, very good job. So, there is 1 pen. Is 1 pen. Okay, there is 1 pen. Okay, I see that you have 1 pencil, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is 1 pencil. Can you say?
There is 1 pencil.
Now, if I have a pencil, I give it to you. Okay, take it. Take it. Very good. So now there are how many pencils? There are 2 pencils. Can you say?
There are 2 pencils.
What if I take it back? How many pencils are there?
There is one pencil.
Aha, very good. There is one pencil. Okay, so if it's just one, you say is. There's a lot, you say are. Do you know these words? Do you know these words? Which word do you not understand? What is a tree? What is a tree? Tree. Oh yeah, there's a tree. And what about chicks? Do you know what chicks are? It's a baby bird. Tweet, 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 tweet. Okay. So you go over the vocabulary this way, ask a lot of questions to the students. And if you look at the very bottom, there's the part that you really want to teach. There is one and there are two. So you want to make sure that you focus on the is versus are. After this, we can go ahead and instruct the students to pull out their Pictionary books and open up to pages 4 and 5, which has all kinds of different pictures. And there you can ask the students questions. How many books are there? Students count and they respond. How many pencils are there? How many red pictures are there? How many orange pictures are there? So doing it this way, they have to hunt and look and count, and then eventually you'll have some students that disagree with each other, so you can have them stand up and show all the different items that they see. And try to get the students up and out of their chairs as much as possible. But now we'll go ahead and move on to page 27. Here we'll have the students come up to the front of the classroom, and they'll go ahead and act out the different conversations in the book. You can give them a moment so they can draw little pictures to go along with the conversations they have. But try to encourage the students to keep the books at their desk, to remember the very short conversation by themselves, by committing it to memory instead of just reading it off the page. It'll help the students remember it further into the future. After you've completed this, go ahead and play the teacher game. Oh, nope, cut there. We're going to have to cut that part. When I start saying after doing this, go ahead and cut. Okay. Now we're ready to go ahead and move on to section B. Ask and say corner. First, we're going to look at the bottom of the page. Do you notice this on the bottom of the page? Please look. Please look. She has, he has, I have. Do you see? She has, he has, I have. Okay, so if we look on the board, so we have he, we have she, and we have I. Okay, go ahead and erase this as well. And on this side, we have have. If we use it with he, we say has. With she, we say she has. But what do you say with I? Do you remember what we said at the beginning? I have. Very good, Julie. I have. This is running out of. I have. Very good. Do you remember some of the other ones? Like do. Remember, it's do you like? Do I like? What about with he or she? Does. Does. Right? And then what about this word? So we'll go ahead and write these on there too. And if you want, at this point, you can invite the students up to write the verbs in the way that they think they should be written. Then go ahead and make a sentence with each of the verbs so the students understand how to use those verbs in sentences. Once you've done that, you're ready to go ahead and go back to the top of the page to the Ask and Say corner. There you can ask the students, look at the first picture. How many birds does she have? How many birds does she have? She has 2 birds. Very good. Repeat after me. She has 2 birds.
She has 2 birds.
Very good. Hako has 2 birds.
Hako has 2 birds.
How many pens does he have?
He has 3 pens.
How many pens does he have?
3 pens.
Good job. He has 3 pens.
He has 3 pens.
In the third picture, how many books does he have?
He has 8 books.
Very good. He has 8 books.
He has 8 books.
Keith has 8 books.
Keith has 8 books.
Now this is a question for you, and for you, and for you, and for you. How many pencils do you have?
I have 1 pencil.
Very good. And what about you, Lacey? How many pencils do you have?
I have 3 pencils.
Oh, how many pencils does she have?
She has 1 pencil.
Hey, Julie, how many pencils does she have?
3 pencils.
She has 3 pencils.
She has 3 pencils.
Very good. Go ahead and ask questions like that with the students so they get used to saying these verbs in their different forms, especially considering that Thai has very little to no conjugation of the verbs. We want to make sure that this comes out naturally for the students. After this, you can go ahead and go into the teacher game and the student workbook of the lesson. So this concludes Lesson 7 of Level 1 in English Corner.